Good morning, everyone. I look forward to this time together every week so we can connect for a time of reflection. Though we are apart physically, we are certainly proving that we are not alone by coming together in spirit. We welcome you this morning to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where our mission is to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. My name is Carrie DeBarger, and I am so grateful to be your worship associate today. We have asked everyone to stay home and view or hear us on your personal devices via this Zoom call. Know that we still welcome all to be a part of our community, regardless of racial identity, age, economic circumstances, immigration status, sexual orientation, or gender identity, because it is important now more than ever to come together, accept people, and be kind to those around you. If this is your first time at a UUFNN service, welcome, and we are glad to have you. Feel free to contact our office for more information or our website, where you can also download a newcomer form. You can sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on all the activities here at the UUFNN. You may notice on the top of your screen that there is a speaker or gallery view option. You can switch back and forth throughout the service to view as you like. You will remain muted throughout the service, but you can make comments in the chat box at any time, specifically during joys and concerns. And once again, thank you for being with us. And now to Reverend Karen.
Welcome. We're so delighted to have you with us this morning. I am Reverend Karen Foster. Thank you for joining us. At the end of our service today, you'll be invited into small groups for coffee hour conversations, so you'll be invited to stay on for that. And today for our service, you're invited to have a chalice with you to light, and also you're invited to have a piece of paper and a marker that we'll want to use for a special ritual a little later in the service. Once again, welcome. We're delighted that you're here. Today, our service is about several different things, much like life. We have to be people of the both and. Today, we continue to acknowledge the current unrest in our country and demand for an end to violence visited on persons of color. Today, we also celebrate the Jubilee of our congregation, and that is our time when we thank all of you who continually step up in leadership and in service to keep our congregation moving forward. We also celebrate a bridging ceremony today, acknowledging that one of our youth is moving from childhood to adulthood. And so today, as we settle in for our service for a few moments together, let's take a few deep breaths and remember that we are people of the both and of the all of the above. Let us continue our service.
I invite you to join me in lighting the chalices that you have by your home, at your home, or that you are imagining in front of you. And as we light each of our individual chalices, I hope that you feel the connection of the warmth between each of us. If we have any hope of transforming the world and changing ourselves, we must be bold enough to step into our discomfort, brave enough to be clumsy there, loving enough to forgive ourselves and others. May we, as a people of faith, be granted the strength to be so bold, so brave, and so loving.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up our world, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, building up our world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up our world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning. I'm Chris Hyland. I currently serve as secretary to the UUFNN Board of Trustees. Reverend Karen asked me to speak this morning about what it means to me to serve our congregation. And as a matter of full disclosure, I'm new to UUFNN. I first attended in early 2019 and became a member last summer. So when Reverend Karen last fall first invited me to throw myself into the frying pan by joining the Board of Trustees, I hesitated, both because of some ongoing family commitments and because I'm new, not just to UUFNN, but to UU and to all of you. But after talking with Karen and with Nancy, I decided that I should not wait to begin to make a contribution to what I found is a wonderful organization. Our congregation provides a place for people of all different backgrounds and spiritual persuasions to come together, to find common ground in worship, and to explore important issues in a safe space where we know that we will be respected. UUFNN has given me a community and a feeling that I belong, and that is meaningful to me. I also believe that when you commit to an organization, it is important to contribute to the common good to whatever extent each of us is able to do so. For some of us, that may not be time or specific skills, but the ability to make a financial contribution. For some of us, that may be time and a desire to do a number of different things as a foot soldier for good. And for some of us, that may be taking a leadership position of some type in order to help move forward the initiatives that are important to the membership and to help shape our response to challenges. All of these roles are essential to the health and growth of UUFNN. And because we are a voluntary association, our interpersonal actions are equally important. Unlike a job, no one of us can order everyone else to take actions. We have to collaborate and reach consensus in order to move forward. And it is essential that we do that in a way that we listen to everyone and that we honor the participation of everyone who sits at the table. I have been very fulfilled in my limited leadership role at UUFNN so far. What I see in terms of how our leaders move UUFNN through difficult times has not been described in this way, but from my vantage point, it is the essence of servant leadership. As Robert Greenleaf coined this term in 1970 and described it in the following way. A servant leader focuses primarily on the growth and well-being of people and the communities to which they belong. While traditional leadership generally involves the accumulation and exercise of power by one at the top of the pyramid, the servant leader shares power, puts the needs of others first, and helps people develop and perform as highly as possible. Reverend Karen and the board exhibit, I think, the best of servant leadership. In the last 4 months, while I've been on the board, they've worked through a lot of very tough issues, and we know we're going to continue to face new challenges. And in my brief time, I've observed that the way that we do that on the board is by laying out on the table the issue that we have to wrestle with and what we understand the important facts to be. Then we brainstorm approaches and solutions and options, usually with a number of different approaches put out there. We talk through them all, we change one another's minds, we change our minds, and we work to a consensus on what we believe is the best course to take for our members and for our community. This consensus-based approach focuses on what we can do for our members and our community. And I must say, seeing your leaders act in this way and getting to be a very small part of it is deeply fulfilling for me. It's one of the reasons I believe so strongly in the direction in which we, all of us together, are taking UUFNN. And it's why serving you as a member of the board is so meaningful to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. We really have appreciated you being on the board this year. You've done a great job for us. And I also want to thank everyone in the congregation for the trust and support that I have felt and received this year as president, as board president. It really has been an honor to serve with this year's Board of Trustees and to serve you all. And as Chris said, we take our responsibilities pretty seriously. We really have worked together not only to try to do the business of the congregation, but also to explore the meaning of leadership and to build relationships in our group. And as he said, it certainly was not the year that we had probably expected when we took on these positions. There have been challenges and opportunities. I have experienced much personal growth. I've experienced humility, frustration, joy and laughter, as well as anxiety, love, and support. But through this all, I have to say my connection and commitment to UUFN has been strengthened so much by serving this term. And my admiration has grown for each and every one of you who have stepped up this year to ensure that we continue our success as we weather these times. There's so much going on behind the scenes that I've been so amazed and proud of to see and witness. And I'm really very optimistic as we move forward with our new Board of Trustees and all our new leaders who have stepped up. And you know, at each board meeting, we have a short thought that we review and that we keep in front of us, and that is, let us remember that we are doing the work of the congregation. When we do the work of the congregation, we touch lives, and when we touch lives, we change the world. So today, I want to thank everyone here who is changing the world. Thank you all.
This has been quite a year of transition. Can you all even remember the beginning of the year? back in September when we had our water ceremony and we all came back from summer breaks to the bustle and fun of a new year. And we had in-person Sunday services and weekly classes in person for all of our children and youth. And we were holding meetings and workshops and social justice activities, everything, all in the comfort of our church building. It's almost hard to imagine what happened in March then, when everything changed drastically and we were forced to step into courage in ways that we had never expected. And we did. Dozens of additional people stepped up to help make sure that we could continue being the same community, even if we couldn't see each other in person. And we offered new programs and we tweaked the way we had done things before. We stretched our creativity and we really, really reached out beyond our walls in innovative ways. We are so grateful to the huge numbers of people who supported making all of those pieces, those before March and those after March, everyone who helped make this unprecedented year possible. So you each hopefully have a piece of paper and a marker in front of you. And we invite you to think about the ways that you have been touched by a program or a group or an offering, and to write a short note of gratitude for the impact that had on your life this year. And as Nancy and I say the names of the groups and programs aloud, you will be invited to hold up your signs of gratitude. And if you switch your screen to gallery view so that you can see everyone's faces, you'll be able to read all of the signs as we read the names. So for those who contributed to the wealth of ways that we connected this year, I want you to just soak in the love that you receive from all of those signs. And for those who benefited from those offerings, share your love widely. And for most of you who fit in both categories, listen to how much you helped our congregation thrive this year. Please hold up your signs now. Women's retreat.
Board of Trustees.
Coming of age mentors.
The Legacy Committee.
Gather, encourage facilitators and leaders.
The Committee on Shared Ministry.
Children's teachers, way back when we did them in person.
The Leadership Development Committee.
Our Spanish class teachers.
Our Membership Committee, including greeters, ACF team.
Our coffee and conversation facilitators.
Our Caring Committee.
Junto leadership.
Our Pastoral Care Committee.
Our Religious Education Committee.
The Finance Committee.
Our Mindful Activism and Spiritual Grounding leaders.
Our Grounds Committee.
The team that led social justice in the time of pandemic.
Our Realm Support Group.
Our childcare volunteers.
Our technology, wow, they really have stepped up this year. Our Zoom people, our slides, our sound people, everyone.
Our Brunch Bunch leaders.
Our Share the Plate Committee.
Our team of folks who wrote weekly letters to all of our children and youth during the pandemic.
Our Stewardship Committee.
Our Borderlands Justice team leaders.
Our Auction Committee.
Our Welcoming Renewal team.
Our Arts and Aesthetics Committee.
Our Children's UUFNN fun gatherings.
Our Worship Associates.
Our Women's Retreat, mini retreat leaders.
the choir, and our musicians. Thank you.
Our safety policy team,
The Verdi Posse,
the refugee support group,
our food bank volunteers,
our building and care team, which is Dennis,
our Green Sanctuary group,
our library leadership,
our Sunday Forum group,
our membership definition task force,
the Long Range Planning Task Force,
and our congregational covenant task force.
and I'm sure that we have forgotten some people that are doing other things. It's just amazing when you see this list and this gathering of folks. So I can't thank you enough. We all are here to thank you. And I have a quote that I want to finish with that is actually from JFK. And he said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not just to utter our words, but to live by them." And I think that that's what we are all doing. Thank you so much.
All around Reno, we're gonna let it shine. All around Reno, we're gonna let it shine. All around Reno, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere we go, we're gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere we go, we're gonna let it shine. Everywhere we go, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Every year, in Unitarian Universalist congregations across the country, we celebrate the important transition between youth and young adulthood in a ritual that we call bridging. Each year, we take the opportunity to celebrate the young people who have graced our congregation's life with their unique personalities, gifts, and talents, and we offer gratitude to them for all the ways they have impacted our lives. And we honor the importance of transitioning from one stage of life to another. These youth move into young adulthood and discover new goals, new ideas, and new adventures. And we hope that they always bring a piece of this congregation with them. Today, we celebrate Wally DeBarger and express our support for his journey. Together, UUFNN will invite him to partner with us in faith and spirit and to live our Unitarian Universalist principles wherever his path may take him.
Wally, it has been a delight to get to know you. And you have served so ably the last 2 years on the board of directors as our youth representative, bringing your unique perspective. You traveled to Tucson on a border trip and got involved in immigration justice a few years ago. And you have served and been involved and helped out in countless other ways. And as you have done that, we have watched you grow up. We have watched you grow. We have watched you challenge yourself. We have watched you become who you are today. And so, Wally, today we honor you, you who are stepping beyond and away and toward. Today we celebrate your hopes and your dreams. Today we applaud you for all that you have been, for all that you are now, and for all that you will be. Today marks an ending and a beginning, Wally. Today you cross the bridge from childhood to adulthood in a ritual form. Go now and explore with wonder, and we will support you and nurture you. You are the future, Wally. Go now and make choices that make you happy. You are amazing and you are an inspiration. If we were all in the great room together, we would have Wally walk from a group of youth to a group of adults, symbolizing a bridge and symbolizing and celebrating Wally's transition. But we're not in the great room today, we're virtual. So I'm going to invite us to form a bridge with our hands, and we will imagine that Wally is walking from one group to the other, and in that way, virtually, Wally will cross the bridge in a symbolic way. Wally, we love you and we congratulate you.
I'm so proud of my brother Wally for bridging, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the next stage of his life. Now we can move on to the time in our service when we have the opportunity to share our bounty with each other, the offering. Since we are not physically together to pass the basket, we can do so virtually by texting the number 73256 with the message UUFNN. Then follow the instructions to provide your offering. You can also contribute by mailing a check to the office at 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno 89511. The slickest and cleanest way to donate, however, is to sign up for automatic giving. Contact the office and Carol will send you an automatic draft authorization form. I'm also very happy to say that our Share the Plate is back. So you can once again include Share the Plate in your offering. Our recipient is the fund created by Action, which is our faith-based organizing partner, to provide assistance to our undocumented neighbors who are not receiving any government stimulus provisions. You can designate on your check or in your giving by text. However, the text giving cannot be split between recipients, so you must choose one designee for each offering. To provide multiple donations, you can click the Add Another Fund button. And when contributing to Share the Plate via text, be sure to use the drop-down arrow to select Action if that is where you'd like your donation to go. Thank you for your generosity. I have grown up in this congregation, and I know it is a safe place for me to express my beliefs and be heard and respected. Being a part of UU has shaped me into who I am today and opened my eyes to a world of opportunity. That is why it is so important to me that we keep the UUFNN up and running. It is in these hard times when the strength of our congregation shines through. Our members have come together to help our community and bend the arc of the universe, all while staying safe. I'm eternally grateful for the staff and volunteers who are working so hard behind the scenes to keep the wheels turning as we move through this time together. I appreciate Reverend Karen and the board for keeping us safe and being a part of the prevention rather than the spread. Thank you to everyone who has stepped forward to make sure our fellowship is financially secure in these uncertain times. We are aware that there are some who cannot make a financial commitment at this time because of the current situation, so I urge those who can to please contribute beyond your pledge. I'm feeling positive that with all of us stepping up, we will be stronger than ever. Thank you for taking care of our beloved community. Let the offering begin. may join me now in blessing these offerings to the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves and these our offerings.
We move now into that time of our service where we will continue to name the names of those who have died at the hands of law enforcement by means of violence. As we do so, I invite us first to participate in our breathing meditation led by Rosie to remind us that breathing is a right and not a privilege.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
Thank you so much. That was, as always, beautiful. Every name on this list died without due process and with the full backing of our government. Their killers were funded by our tax dollars. We hold a personal responsibility for every human being here, and I demand that you take up that burden now. I will be reading the names of those lost to police violence along with a brief description of the incident. I will ask you to say their names back and hold them in your hearts as you do. There are only 14 names here this week, but the reality is so much larger. There are hundreds in this state alone, and the truth is we will never really know how many of our community die every year begging officers for their lives. It is only possible to honor these lives today because of the work of a local ally, D. Brian Berghardt, who founded fatalencounters.org, one of the most reliable databases of officer-involved fatalities. Without his work, we would have even less data on police violence. Mason Workman, killed by the Henderson Police Department in April of 2020. Mason was shot after he failed to comply with orders while holding a gun. Say his name, Mason Workman. Fred Brown, killed by the North Las Vegas Police Department in April of 2020. Fred was shot after a physical altercation with officers. Say his name, Fred Brown. Travis Lee Hathaway, killed by the Henderson Police Department in December of 2019. Travis was shot after entering a store with a knife and requesting that the police be called. Travis was shot after refusing officers' orders to drop the knife. Say his name, Travis Lee Hathaway. Fidel Miranda, killed by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in July of 2018. Fidel was shot during the course of a murder investigation following a vehicle crash. Say his name, Fidel Miranda. Caleb Edward Baylock, killed by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in July of 2017. Caleb was shot after officers responded to an assault with a knife. He was shot after allegedly lunging at officers. Say his name, Caleb Edward Baylock. Weston Seitz, a 15-year-old child, was killed by the California Highway Patrol in June of 2016. Officer Jim Gamble was looking at his computer when he rear-ended the car that Weston was in. Say his name, Weston Seitz. Raymond Lee, killed by the Modesto Police Department in November of 2019. Raymond was shot and killed after officers made contact with him regarding an outstanding warrant. Say his name, Raymond Lee. Name withheld. This man was killed by the Kern County Sheriff's Office in April of 2020. While officers refused to release his name, I want to repeat that. Officers refused to tell us who they murdered. We do know that he was killed after refusing to stop when officers attempted to pull him over. When he was stopped at an intersection, officers opened fire into the vehicle without further questioning. We will hold a few seconds of silence in his honor. Richard Lugo, killed by the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office in April of 2020. Richard was shot after officers were called to investigate an incident involving a man with a gun. Say his name, Richard Lugo. Morris Holly, killed by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department in October of 2019. Maurice was sleeping in a ditch and disoriented when officers attempted to communicate with him. He was shot after officers spotted a replica gun in his waistband that he allegedly reached towards. Say his name, Morris Holly. Anthony Daniel Vargas, killed by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department in August of 2018. Anthony was shot after officers claimed he tried to arm himself while they attempted to question him for a nearby armed robbery. Say his name, Anthony Daniel Vargas. Paul David Rea, killed by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department in June of 2019. Paul was shot by officers in an altercation following a traffic stop. Say his name, Paul David Rea. Desmond Phillips, killed by the Chico Police Department in March of 2017 during a mental health crisis. Desmond was shot after a physical confrontation with officers. Officers were responding to a mental health 911 call made by Desmond's father. Say his name, Desmond Phillips. Rodney Lee Hunter, killed by California State University Police Department and the Pomona Police Department in June of 2018. Rodney was shot by police after being deemed a suspect in the killing of a Cal Poly police officer. His name, Rodney Lee Hunter.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Pray with me, pray with me, pray with me, oh my soul. Pray
Mystery, Spirit of life, Comforter, ground of our being. We send out our love and our care and our healing energy today to all of those who are grieving, to all of those who are experiencing loss, to all of those who are in a place of fear and worry and depression, to all of those who need a hand to hold. We give thanks today to those particular members of law enforcement who are working from within those organizations to bring about change, to bring about an end to violence, and to bring cultural change in the ways that they continue about their work and encounters with individuals. You're invited in these moments to record your joys and concerns, your celebrations, your prayers in the chat box as we continue our time of prayer and meditation together. We give thanks for all of you who so consistently step up to give of yourselves in service and in leadership so that we can be a community who provides community to so many and who works for justice and for change in our world. We gather all of our prayers and our meditations into the heart of love. Amen.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
want to thank you so much for joining us for today's service. We're glad that you have been here and that we've had this time together. Just a few closing announcements as we close our service. I encourage you to watch your emails for opportunities for connection and programs, and especially we continue this Wednesday with the new racial justice program that is a documentary film followed by a discussion. And you can watch your email for how to connect into that. And then we will continue our discussion on that program on Thursday at 10:30 and at 5:30. If you know of anyone who needs Zoom support or any sort of support, would you please let us know? And we would like to be in touch with them to see how we can provide any connection and support that they may need. If you're new to us, please do fill out the newcomer card so that we can provide you with all of our connection information and keep in touch with you. Please do share our worship link with anyone who may be feeling isolated and may be needing this kind of connection. I wanted to call your attention to a couple of special upcoming opportunities. This coming Saturday, the Poor People's Campaign is going to have a virtual mass assembly and march on Washington. It's going to be a historic event with millions of people, and there will be 2 opportunities on Saturday and 1 on Sunday to view this historic event. As they call out our leaders to abide by a moral compass, this grassroots movement is particularly timely in the time that we're living in now. So I encourage all of us to participate in that, and we will send some connection information out on that event this week. I also wanted to let you know that 2 weeks from today, on June 28th, we have the unique opportunity to join together the UUA General Assembly's worship, and we'll have information available for you to do that as well. I invite you to stay on for coffee hour breakout conversations, which will happen after the postlude. And let's join together now, bringing all of our lights together to form a bigger light so that we can make a difference in our world. This little light of mine.
Sorry, give me just a second. Totally my bad. We are not afraid. We're gonna let it shine. We are not afraid. We're gonna let it shine. We are not afraid. We're gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. In solidarity, we're gonna let it shine. In solidarity, we're gonna let it shine. In solidarity, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Beloveds, from this virtual space and into the world, virtually and otherwise, even in this time of pandemic, let us each let our light shine for justice, for courage, for love. Blessed be, and amen.